Welcome to At the Table,
where we are connecting entrepreneurs, discovering missions, and building communities with purpose, body, soul, mind, and business with
Charlie
and Heather.
with Women in Leadership. Hello, and welcome back to the table where we love to interview really awesome, amazing women just living life, doing their thing, working their businesses, and being the entrepreneurs and wearing all the hats of being moms and wives and friends, and just really getting out there and doing the hard things, and trying to do it all, coming together and talking about how we can lean on each other and learn and grow from each other and support one another along the way.
And I'm Heather, and
What?
I'm Heather.
And I'm Charlie. I forgot that
part. We're excited today, obviously, we're excited today to bring a very special and new friend to the table. She's an entrepreneur. She is giving in her community. She
has a nonprofit, Global Legacy, which I'd like her to talk more about a little bit, and tell us a little bit about that. But she also runs her own consulting agency, Consulting International. Here with us at the table today is the wonderful, amazing, and beautiful Tiffany Rashel.
Hello, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Where are we at?
Where they're listening, like right. When they're listening, or watching, that's the best, right?
Hi, ladies. Thank you for having me today.
Thank you for being here. Let's take a couple of minutes, introduce yourself to everyone, and tell us a little bit more about what it is you do.
Hello, everybody. I am Tiffany Rashel, and I am a leadership strategist and a purpose accelerator. In my day job, I work with high-functioning leaders to help them overcome the transitions and challenges that they face as leaders, to help them get those cleared up in the behind the scenes so that they don't have to struggle in the light and fall down there. On the other side, I also, through my nonprofit, work with women and youth and underserved communities to help develop leaders there in order for them to create the resolutions that they need for the problems they have in their community. So incorporating and empowering them to be the change that they want to see. So I spend a lot of time just talking. Author, I'm an international speaker, a teacher, a trainer. So all of my time really is just spent helping people see the greatest potential within them in order for them to fulfill their divinely given purpose and just flourish and continue to impact the world.
Boom. That's so awesome. You all can see why we brought her on the podcast today, right? Like
I can't wait to get to know you more. But when we were talking today, one of the things that keeps coming up for all of us is this being a mom and the emotional real estate that we carry for our kids, our community of kids, all the people we, quote unquote, mother, or all of our mothering instincts and all the things that we do.
And even holding space for our clients is an emotional real estate, right? So so that's what we wanted to talk about today. Like the mom overwhelm can be real. Like it can be super real.
It's so funny. This is such a timely conversation because, as you know, I'm going through a lot of personal transitions myself. And I'm moving to another state. My daughter is getting married. I have, 2 sons who are grown, but they're in professional sports or working toward and doing all kinds of things. on top of my clients and on top of those that I serve. So it's very interesting. And somebody was asking me how I manage the overwhelm. And what I said to them is, first, I realized that I manage a lot of emotional real estate. I am an emotional real estate manager. And one of the first real estates I must manage is my own. And the way I do that is I accept it. I acknowledge it, right? I acknowledge it. And then I accept it for what it is. And I allow it to be. That way, I'm not overwhelmed because I'm not spending time trying to act like I don't feel like I feel. There are days when I'm just like, why am I doing any of this? I don't even like people today. You know, and I don't like my kids today. Like there's real, and I'm real about it. I understand it's the feeling in the moment. And oftentimes I tell my clients, as I'm helping them to navigate their emotions, feelings are not facts, but they are reality. Right? So you and I could experience the same thing and we will feel completely different about it. So that makes it not a fact, right?
Right.
Right.
And then the part is, but we're still feeling it. So that makes it the reality. And how we manage our reality is going to determine how we're able to manage the things that happen to us, but also around us. And as mothers, we're often not given grace to be who we are. We're not given the grace to say, I don't want to talk to none of y'all today. Like, I just want to go in my room. I want to take a bath. I want to burn a candle. I want to drink a glass of wine, and don't knock on the door because I don't care if Johnny hit you. Like, it's
True.
I don't care if you ate
Right.
dinner today, because I just don't. It's not on top. But you know, I've watched mothers in the recent years be so villainized for basic mothering things, and I feel sorry for the younger generation. I'm not an ageist or a classist, but there's still realities of differences in generations and the way things are processed, right? And so I feel so sorry for the younger mothers that have so many lists of, oh, you can breastfeed, you can't breastfeed, you can breastfeed in public, you shouldn't breastfeed, you can't lay your baby on the face.
All the judgment.
If you have a nanny, it's terrible. If you don't have a nanny, it's terrible. Like, I'm like, mind your business, because every instance is different. And once we master managing our own emotional space without regard to what other people feel about how we feel, then we're able to process and have stamina and sustainability and resilience and strength in what we do. So that's how I manage. So I know I just said a lot, but
Woo! Yes.
I love all of that.
Agreed.
100%. I know for me, you know, I have a older teen. She's 19, and she's still like needing me more than maybe I would like her to need me right now, right? Like yesterday, she texted me. She still lives at home, and she texts me, and she's like, "Is there a certain time I need to be home?" I'm like, "You're 19. Go do
19-year-old things.
Make adult decisions for yourself, you know." And then, you know, later on that evening, she texted my husband asking permission if she could stay the night at her friend's house. I don't care. You're 19. Just
Like,
take
thanks
care
for
of
letting us
yourself.
know
Thanks
where-
for letting us know you're not going to be home for dinner, but, you know, other than that, have fun. And so trying to set those boundaries that, you know, she doesn't need to know where I am and what I'm doing all the time, because, you know, she's not my mom for one. But, you know, our kids, you know, I don't necessarily at this point need to know where she is and what she's doing 24/7. I'm giving her that breathing room to learn and grow for herself, but she's having a hard time with that, right? So it's like teaching her kind of how to be an adult, where, you know, when I was I remember where I was when I was 19. I was engaged to be married. You know, I'm still with my husband today, and he's awesome.
We're
and
getting
amazing.
ready to buy a house.
I bought a house when I was 20 years old.
Like,
and you know, it's just, I have a very different mindset about life in general that when I was 19 than she does. I was kind of forced to be responsible for myself earlier, which I think had an impact on that. But this transition between, you know, her living at home, going to school, doing the teenage things and making sure that she's taken care of, versus now she's adulting on her own, like trying to adult on her own. It's taking some time for her to get used to, but you know, it's also taken some time for me to get used to. You know, it's a whole different mindset.
You know what I had to do, because I'm Gen X, like we're rugged. Nothing hurts our feelings. We step on nails and keep going. And I had to realize my daughter's older than your daughter. She's 20. Ooh, she's older.
okay, she's older. That's good.
Like, she's in her late 20s. And your daughter sounds like my daughter, where my daughter didn't want to grow up. Like when she was 14, she would tell people she was 12. When she was 16, she would tell people, like, they would call and say, hey, can she go to a party? And she would tell them I said no. She had never asked me. She was like, I don't want, like, she was the child I had to push. Don't you want some friends? Like, don't you want to meet some people? She's like, no. She's like antisocial. She doesn't want to do, she gets social anxiety. And so even though it was strange territory for me, I also had to realize that the territory that she was navigating was also different, because I was constantly warning her that you can't trust people, because at the time when she was in school and then she was finding friends, people were secretly setting, you know, people up and videotaping them and making, you know, they were doing stuff in the name and under the guise of friendship. And so for me, like, I never wanted her to be blindsided, and what she was experiencing probably did create anxiety because it's just different. And so, you know, I would advise that for your daughter, understanding her need to be close to you, there's a lot of anxiety creating environments for their age. Like, hell, we have a school, a shooting like every week. Like, it's different. So what I did was I had to do a gradual release. I always appreciated her for letting me know, and then I would encourage her to fly. She's just now, I mean, spoiler alert, in her late 20s. She just, I think last year, said, okay, I'm going to say yes to things. Because she said no was her favorite word. No to everything.
Oh.
And so she said last year.
That's a scary year to just say yes to things and try things out. Like, that can be like lots of boundary, like.
So it's a walk, you know, and just encouraging her. And then when she got ridiculous, I'm like, I'm not participating in that. I'm not participating. And then it'd be like, okay, are you okay? And then come back. But I'll say this last thing, and then I'll let you join in. My daughter, I will say, I'm so happy the relationship I have with all my children. But because my relationship with my mother was not as close, I made a vow that I wanted a close relationship with my daughter. And I wanted her to know she could come to me for anything and everything, and that I'm her champion. Even if I don't agree with her, I'm going to be with her. She really took that to heart. There's been several instances in her life where she was thousands of miles away from me. And instead of calling 911 or calling somebody that was in the city with her, she's calling me. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. Mom, this is happening. And I'm like, okay, did you call the police? Like, there's somebody outside? Okay, I need you to. She had an anxiety attack one time, and she's calling me, and I'm talking her through the anxiety attack and breathing. And it's interesting to me that her mind would first say, "This is the best answer I have," and I'm like, "But I'm not even close to you right now. I can't reach you." But I honor the fact that she feels safe with me.
Yeah.
And like I said, I spend a lot of time managing emotional real estate because, believe me, anxiety attack, anger attack, she's gonna call me.
Oh, I always forget that I have these life experiences, right? I have a sister that was born when I was 17, and I helped raise her, and then she ended up living with me, and we graduated her from high school and transitioned her into adulthood. I forget that I have these experiences of actually doing these things, because I'm a single mom of a boy. And then I'm like, oh yeah, I've already had this like life of doing these things for other people, right? And I forget that sometimes. But I've been just sitting with the feels, like letting the feels wash through, because I've recently learned that the actual emotion is like 45 or 90 seconds. And then it's and then if you're afraid of it or you react to it, it's all the residual that kind of hangs out in there. So I've been trying to just let it flow so that it doesn't get stuck, right? Like I don't need to add any more. I've been doing lots of work on my self-care stuff. I don't need to add any more. So we're just letting those feels of my baby turning 18 and passing his GED and doing the things. Like, wow, kid, he's amazing. He's out of the box, so he is not cool with traditional school, and so this whole year has been really difficult. And he's made some really excellent choices for himself, and watching him advocate now for himself and his emotional maturity that he has, because we've spent so much time doing the work, is amazing. Like, I have to remind him that other kids his age don't have that emotional maturity, or a parent that maybe is going to sit down with them and feel the feels and go through it with them like my mom does, like, because that emotional real estate, holding that space for that growth that you can, and I'll show you how.
Yeah.
Goosebumps.
No, that was beautiful. And I think it's important to anybody who's listening to us talk, when we say, or at least I know when I say managing emotional real estate, I don't hold other people's emotions. I just hold the space to help them have them and let them get them out and let them have a reality check with them.
Our heads are nodding in unison.
Vulnerable,
Right, yeah.
We have people who do harbor people's emotions, and that ends up being abusive, and they're being overwhelmed and overrun because they're not managing their own emotions, and they're like, yeah, sure, tell me about your breakup, and yeah, sure, tell me about your failed business, and yeah, tell me about the death of your dog, and yeah, sure. And they're taking all these things in because they want to be liked, or they think that's what a good friend is, or whatever their story is that they've been dumped on their whole life. And so they don't have a healthy way to process it, so they're not actually managing it, they're harboring it. So when we say real estate, emotional real estate management, we are actually talking about managing it, from entrance,
holding
that
the space of grace to like validate and listen and be witnessed. Like, witnessing is one of my son's biggest love languages. Like, he needs to be witnessed, but that doesn't mean I take it on. And sometimes, I am mom, so he does zap my energy. Like, when he's facing something really hard, like he is, I don't know, I still can't get my shielding down for that. It takes all the mom energy. Oh, okay, mom needs to rest now to recover from that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, I'm working on that, right? Like, I just keep working on it. Like, and the more that I see how capable he is, the easier it is for me to like not jump in too soon, right? Like letting him have the grace to show up and keep learning. Like I never limit like where he's at, and I let him show me, you know. And sometimes somebody will ask me a question, I'm like, well, we really need to ask him, because, you know, 2 weeks ago I would say it's this, but he's grown a lot. So even in 2 weeks, like especially during this time, like every couple of weeks he's like got a new level of thinking and he's processing so well. Like I feel like that's a lot of that transition that can happen, where the fights happen if you're not listening to each other. And with your teenagers, like I can totally see that. Absolutely. Like if I was completely stressed out of my mind and didn't have the time and space and grace for him, it would be World War III in my house. Like,
and we use these same tools in our businesses.
Yes.
Right? And how we communicate with each other. It's like, okay, I see that you're having a hard day. I'm gonna hold the space for you, but I'm not gonna, you know, take it away from you. I'm gonna hold it. I'm gonna acknowledge it. You know, like, hey, you're doing a good job. I see you struggling.
We give each other a hug and like, well, like, I'm going to go grab you a warm up on your coffee, or, you know, just doing those little things.
You can go for a walk.
Yeah. What can we do to, you know, respect and have grace for each other, right?
It's definitely very important to have those kind of people in your life. As you're building a business, as you're building your network. And I think because you all have a business podcast, and I just want to talk to the voice of the business mother, right? And father, but we can talk about mom. It's important that as we build our legacies, that we build people into the network to support it. We're coming out of a time where everyone is self-made and you have to do it on your own. And that's led to a high level burnout, just fatigue, disgruntledness.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I advise people, like, you have to understand who you need in your business, who you need in your support system. All your friends aren't the same, and you can't expect them to support you the same. You have, like, I have friends who I can talk my business strategies with, and other ones who I just need them to make me laugh. We don't need to talk business. Like, I don't need you to understand what I do in business, but we need to be able to laugh together and crack a joke and have just unadulterated fun. Also saying, when you're building with people, understand there are people who support the vision, and there's people who support the visionary. And you have to know who is who in your circle, because if you're trying to get a person to support your vision, but they're just they just want to support you, you may put them in a position that's not conducive to helping you or to helping them, right? Because the one who supports the visionary is the person who's like, wherever you go, I'm gonna go. We all need that person. We all need a few of those people, right? Hey,
Right.
You guys do a podcast this week. Next week you want to make soup? I'm with you. And people who are gung-ho for your vision. So if you're like, today we're building boxes, you're like, I like building boxes, I'm going to build boxes. And you're like, tomorrow we're making brownies. They're like, yeah, no, I'm going to stick over here with the boxes. You need those people so you can grow.
Right.
Because those people are going to manage the things that maybe you've outgrown or you don't necessarily want to do. And that's all part of that whole management system of being able to, as mothers, sometimes we struggle with letting go, taking our hands off, allowing the baby, right? Allowing the baby to walk, right? All right. You know, you're holding, no, don't fall down. Hey, you can fall down. And I know you'll get up, you might have a boo-boo, but you'll be fine. So for women, I think we're getting it, but I think we still need to continue on the path of going, it's okay to release and allow what we've implanted into our friends, into our spouses, into our children, into our businesses. to allow it to manifest and trust that what we've given it is what we had to give it at the time. And then when we take our hands off and let it flourish, and we can, oh, okay, I can help you tweak now. I can help you in this area so we can grow to the next level, versus I'm holding you down because I'm so afraid that you're not going to grow right and that I didn't do the best. And I just need to hold on because no, let it go. Letting go is fundamental.
Letting go is fundamental. Yeah. And we talk about using people in your village, right? To support you in your business, because you don't have to do it all. And you can outsource to, the pros who do it, maybe they do it this piece better than you. I am not an accountant. I can pay the bills, and I can manage, put things in QuickBooks and things like that, but I'm not an accountant. So I hired one to figure out my taxes. Math is not my strong suit. Bookkeeper, yep, hired one of those too. So I have somebody to check our books every, quarter, making sure that, I input the things right, because that's the part that I can do. And I have an accountant that handles the taxes, because these are not my strong suits.
But they're super important.
But they are super important to our business and to our financial future and, the business growth. So looking at what in your business can you outsource that you can let go of. Also creating a revenue stream for, someone else, and supporting them. And they, a lot of times, especially women in business, it's like you support each other, right? And so, we have this whole village of people around us that we can lean on, who have the resources and knowledge. And if you're having a hard time in your current circle finding what you need in your business,
come over. Send a message. You're welcome here. Absolutely.
Here, and finding a community of like-minded people. Find your village. Your vibe attracts your tribe. So just get out there and talk to people, which I know has been kind of hard for people over the last few years, let's be honest, but it is crucial to the development of ourselves personally, our emotional growth, and our business growth too. So
because as we grow our businesses, and we're in the realms of supporting businesses, right? So as your business dream grows, having people you can lean on so you can focus on that one part that sparks joy in you gives you so much freedom to spark that joy and live in joy instead of stress and overwhelm. So that's one way that we use that in business. So with Charlie and I, that looks like we've added a third partner right now, and we have an administrative assistant, and we have an accountant, and we have a bookkeeper, and we have media support people that we reach out to. We have the whole list of support. So any area we feel like we need some extra support in, we know who to ask for help for that. And it's pretty amazing what community can do. So it's not like traditional, like you've hired every single person to work for you and you have to pay each person that works for you. Sometimes it's working with a friend, and they just happen to, that's their expertise, and they drop a knowledge bomb on you, and you're like, thank you. I was so stuck. I could not get that file to move to the place, and the button was gone, and who knows what it was. You just get stuck. And having a friend to phone is, it's amazing. So good.
And now we have a new friend to phone in Tiffany Rashel. Thank you Tiffany, for sharing your knowledge and wisdom and just your heart with us today. And I want to share, what is the best way for people to get a hold of you if they're interested in working with you?
They can interact with me on LinkedIn under Tiffany Rashel. They can also email me at hello@tiffanyrashel.com. And what was the other way? What did I say? LinkedIn. Oh, IG. Get me on Instagram. Everything that you want to find me on is Tiffany Rashel 1. I am working on my next book. I have some things to do. So yeah, just keep up. If you don't mind, do we have time? I just want to read a little excerpt on emotion from what I have. So as you can see, I'm a student of my own book. I have all the little tabs and it's dog-eared. But the book is Dear Leader, a personal guide for leaders through peace, pandemic, and protest. And it's a book of letters to leaders so that they can just have a place to filter and be heard and feel like they're seen. So I'm starting in the middle of a paragraph, but it says, "You've come through trials seemingly unbothered. There will always be those times when no amount of self-talk or self-awareness will be able to overcome the actuality of being human and having human feelings, emotions, and challenges. I watched many leaders reach their boiling point and struggle to survive as they slowly drown in a sea of unchecked emotions. Coming face to face with feelings of disappointment, doubt, confusion, fear, and even failure is an inevitable part of human existence. Maybe you feel like you're losing even though you are winning. Or maybe your confidence falters in your ability even while everyone else is praising you. It looks like doubt, it looks like exhaustion, and a lack of motivation. It looks like, why am I doing this anyway?" And I'm gonna stop right there. So these are conversations. So I just look forward to those of you who are facing specific challenges, imposter syndrome, doubt about who you are, lacking confidence in your voice, even though you know what you're doing, but because you're reaching a different realm with higher level people, your confidence starts to take a hit. Like, do I belong here? I work with that. I help people overcome that and then actually really be fully grounded in their purpose. So yeah, reach out.
Oh, perfect.
Of course, all of those links will be dropped below. Check it.
Can't wait. Oh.
Can't wait. So stay tuned for our information about our cause of the quarter and the upcoming Strawberry Festival. Oh my goodness, so many things happening.
Coming up next.
Thank you so much.
Namaste.
The Marysville Police Foundation is a 501c3 organization to support these areas of the Marysville Police Department: law enforcement, officer wellness, and the community outreach programs and activities. We look forward to serving you.
We take the mystery and pain out of social media consistency for your business, giving you back time to shine in your zone of genius. Social media is the new branding. It deserves its own attention, thought, and effort. Yet so few businesses actually take this seriously and invest enough time on their strategy. We can do it for you at an affordable rate that will fit into your budget and allow you to pursue other revenue channels as well. The hardest part of social media management is keeping up the consistency to be seen and know what to post, when to post. Are you ready to have everything ready to go for you, saving you time and energy by not having to do it all yourself? Still getting your message out so that people get to know you, like you, and develop trust while opening yourself up to more time for the business of your business where you shine. Working with women in leadership, BSMB LLP is a unique experience that bridges the gap from face-to-face to virtual relationship marketing. Not only do we love to help you shine on social media, we love to share tools to help you grow with us, body, soul, mind, and business. Check out our podcast and YouTube channel for Mindset Mondays, Social Media Training Wednesdays, business interviews and special topics on Fridays, and weekly readings on Sundays. To schedule your consultation or podcast interview, head to our website, www.womeninleadershipbsmb.com. Our weekly readings on Sunday, our podcast, Mindset Monday, social media training with Heather on Wednesdays, guest interviews, and special topics on Fridays. Thank you for joining us. Find out more and schedule with us online at www.womeninleadershipbsmb.com, where you have a spot at the table. Thank you for joining in on the fun. Be sure to like and subscribe for more.